Right.
Everybody have people that can. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm gonna pray and get it started, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. All right, so glad to see all of you tonight, and it's been a busy week for me. I don't know about for you guys, but they just keep getting busier, don't they? Shout out to all of you in Uganda, and take up some prayer requests. I'm gonna turn it over to Daniel and get this show on the road. We might get out of here early. I don't know. It depends on. Sometimes I like to talk, so turn your preacher knob off, and then we might get out a little bit early. Like I can talk, right? My preacher mode's on 24/7. Sometimes people will say to my wife, "But you're rarely in the service," and she says, "I've heard him preach enough. I have heard him preach enough." So let's take up some prayer requests. Your sister's sitting, yes.
And Gabriel, my son,
Gabriel.
he had an operation this last week and he's stressing out. But, and also I want, because I know that there's power in prayer and we were just talking about that. But I just found out that Gabriel's dad, he, after 12 years, he is back in the streets doing drugs again. He's falling again. So he's back in Puerto Rico. He's been there like 3 months, 4 months now. And I just found out that he's lost again. But like me and people were talking and they're going, I have faith that he's gonna come out of it.
What is his name?
Eddie.
Eddie. All right. Who else?
My grandma passed away, so I'm gonna go to Ecuador next weekend. So just pray for the family.
All right, well, let's pray together. Lord, we come before your throne boldly because we know that you're the God who is able. Lord, you know every prayer before it comes off of our lips. You've heard these prayer requests. Lord, I do pray for Gabriel that he would have a speedy recovery. Lord, I just pray that you'll be with his dad, Eddie. Lord, we know that the devil uses substance to bring us down. And I just pray against that in the name of Jesus, Lord, that you would send your spirit forth, Lord, that you would just remind him that you are more powerful than any substance that we can be seeking fulfillment in. And Lord, I just pray that you would bring him back up off the street again, that he would be able to give you glory and victory. Lord, I do pray for Mona Rosa's sister. I just pray, Lord, that these doctors will be able to just get the bleeding, where they have done the procedures on her feet, Lord, that you would take care of that you would just help the hemorrhaging. Lord, we know you did that for a woman in the scriptures. And so, Lord, I just pray in the name of Jesus that you would touch her body and bring healing to it, that you would bring emotional healing, spiritual healing as well. And Lord, I do pray for Evelyn as she's preparing to travel. I just pray that you would shower her family with grace and mercy, and just allow her to go there and to be with her family during this time of loss. You bring her back safely to her family here. And Lord, we just love you. We praise you. We thank you for tonight. I pray you use Daniel in a powerful way. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
If you notice Chris typing's in there, I'm not a scholar of English, speaking English, but writing it is not Daniel's best form. I didn't have my wife proofread.
So Daniel is actually Will's brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
They weren't gonna tell y'all that, but I thought I'd throw it in there.
So, yeah. So I take this from the very basics because I don't know who knows what and how you're gonna get started. If somebody's coming to Planet Church, Starter Church, or whatever they're doing, they may have never looked at a website, They may have never looked at a user computer much. They may just know the basics of that. And so I start from the very basics. Like the first thing that you'll see on here, the topic, but it's how to set up a Google account. Because the Google account is extremely important for many reasons. And we're going to talk about designing a logo because that's important to brand yourself. This is more of like a marketing as well. That logo is on all your printed documents, all your website, all your social media, on a shirt, or whatever, anything that you're doing, you're going to have that logo on. You want to be able to have it. Then we'll talk about social media because they're much easier to set up social media, Facebook, Instagram, with others. And it's supposed to be set up and then it's to build a website. Okay, and website I put on there, that's kind of the last thing. Website is takes a lot more work than social media to maintain and to do that. But it's extremely important because someone's looking for a church to go visit, they're gonna type in churches near me in Google. And what's gonna come up, hopefully you're on that list. You know, they'll click on these different sites, they'll see that site, they'll see where you're at, they'll find out things about you, basics about you, so that's why the website's extremely important. There's some other good information that I have about social media things that you can use, so. Like I said, church social media and website can be so overwhelming to a lot of people. I mean, if you're trying to do sermons every Sunday and whatever else you have going on, ministering to people, that's a lot of work to do. So I just hope I can show you some simple steps to that process and take stress away. Google is a great place to start. If you have a Google account, you have access to a lot of things. You don't have to buy Microsoft Word, which costs money. Google has Google Docs and all these other products on Google that you could use to create documents, to send documents to people, to create spreadsheets and to share them with people and to do those things. So it's a great way to do that in a more expensive way than go out and buy and pay a subscription to Microsoft Office.
I've never used a Google Doc.
It's great. It's compatible with Microsoft Office.
Right, but you work here.
I sent you a link.
Yeah, no.
But so it gives you a lot of opportunities for a lot of different things besides just an email address. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Because we'll talk about Google Forms in here as well. That's a great thing that you can do in Google. That's beneficial to you. Getting people to help you is extremely necessary for your success with this too. Because if you're busy in what you're doing, starting a church, that website is going to be the least important thing to you, but it's extremely important to you as everything else is. So it's hard to put that in there. There are many steps before you can start a website or social media account. Get started. One great key in all of this is less is more. Just because you put a bunch of stuff out doesn't mean it's going to be quality. And the more you put out, people don't read. Okay, especially young people, they don't read anything. They see this, and that's what they want to see. They don't read the whole thing. So putting a lot is not the key. Quality over quantity is the best. Make sure what you're doing is high quality, not just a rush and put things out. Make sure it's good. Make sure it's quality. Let's look at what we believe about the first steps. So my thought about this is create an email account. Okay, and there's many other places to go besides Google to get an email account. But like I said, Google opens you up to do many other things, and most of us carry around this. Hopefully, it's an Android phone and not an iPhone.
iPhone of the way.
Oh, that's terrible.
Android baby.
There you go. Android and Samsung even better. But anyway, so that Google account gives you this easy way. Step one: create a Google account as soon as you know you'll be starting a church. Not separate from your personal account. Okay, you can't do everything through your personal account because then it gets messed up. And you can always keep that Google account for the church. Okay, as if I leave, I want to take my personal account, but that church one should be able to be maintained by that church if I move on or go somewhere else or start something else. Okay, but keep things separate. You can use that to set up your social media accounts, your email, your website, and all these things. That's going to be very important for a lot of even billing can go through that church website email address. So if it's specific to the church instead of to yourself, that's much better for you. Like I said, keep your personal information and separate. So it's important to do the Google account. Now, on that paper I gave you, that list, it goes through the steps on how you set up a Google account. So it tells you if you don't have no clue, and Carl sends you that link to that document, you can open this document, you'll see this document, see those blue links, and it'll walk you through the steps on how to do that. Okay, most of us know how to do that, but it just I don't know where everybody sits at when they're doing stuff. So the next thing I'll talk about is the next step is considering a logo for all your print and social media stuff. So the logo is important because that's going to be your branding, your name. People going to see that, and you want that to be consistent across everything you're doing. So before I go and set up Facebook, I need to have something that I'm going to put on there as my picture, my logo, like, first picture I put up there. So people recognize your church, it should be identify something about you, logo should be everything you do with business cards, website, social media pages, flyers, handouts, everything you do should have that logo on it. Make it simple, make it just basic, don't try to put all kinds of colors and everything into it. Why? Because when you go to print, black and white's cheap, color is not. So keep stuff as much color draws attention. So if you're trying to get attention, color is important. But when you're doing print, just handing out documents to people, the logo is good to have on there, but it's cheap to print in black and white. So
Yeah, my wife was talking about that when you get, go to a printing place or wherever, that sometimes they will do you two logos. One is your full-blown colored logo with everything on it, and another one is a black and white one that's more basic. So that, for that very reason that you're talking about, so. This, I know, well, what is y'all, do y'all have a logo?
We have a logo for the church. Yes, my dad made the logo. It's 13 drops of rain. 13 drops of rain arranged in a certain particular form.
Which is the meaning of the church.
Mhm.
New rain. More.
Cool. So and there's also a meaning behind it sometimes with that design. It's like, I think Carl has some meaning behind the design.
Yeah, the cross, the bottom half of it is red and it's shaped like a T, and we're Transformation Community Church, so it kind of goes.
So those are great things to do. So if you're not good like that, you can't come up with something good like that. You're on a college campus right now, so there's a lot of college students out here that do graphic design and can help you with that. Plus there's places to go. I'll put on here a couple, like Ferber, Ferber.com, 99 Designs. You can go in there and they will design you. That's in section 2 on that paper. Number 2 on that paper. They'll help you design a website. I mean a logo. They'll draft one up for you, give it what you want, and then it's gonna cost you a little money, you know, and the more money you spend, more work they're gonna do, that kind of thing. But we did ours with New Sunset. We changed all it when we did revitalization back 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. We redesigned everything, but we had a lot of help. We have connections to UMHB that allow us to have some of that. So we were able to get some help. So that's how we got that logo there. One of the college students just drew it up for us. It's simple, it's right.
And I have something that's very, very important. So I created that logo that's on that card with publisher. And I took it to a sign company to make a 8-foot sign. And I told the guy, I made this in publisher, so you might need to vectorize it or something like that. Well, he didn't. So when I got my sign, it was so pixelated, it was crazy. And you know what he told me? Well, from the road, they won't notice that anyway.
Oh,
And I paid $20 for that sign.
So most people don't even know that. They're gonna make their logo themselves on publisher or some program on their computer, and then they're gonna wanna put it on a banner. They're gonna wanna put it on something big. Well, that's not gonna work. It's gonna
Unless
stretch it out too much, and
Unless it's been vectorized.
it even happens on the computer. So you've gotta make sure you know what you're doing when you're trying to put those big logos and things. And then, so you have it correctly when you print out stuff.
But one thing, when I went to the place to get them to do some professional work and a sign, I told them, you know, what I did. He goes, oh, no, we won't use that. He said, I need to let you know straight up, you'll get a $70 artist fee, and I'll recreate what you did in our program. And so it looked just like mine, except that it could be blown up and put on t-shirts and put on
Different format.
yeah.
there are 2 places online where you can make your logo. One of them will be for free, and the other one you will have to pay.
Yeah.
The first one is Canva. Canva.com
Yeah.
is the publisher to go for free for all kinds of art, banners, logos, YouTube thumbnails, and everything. The second place, that is if we get a little artsy and we know how to craft a logo. The second place is called Fiverr, or Fever, or whatever the name might be. This is like a market of all these designers that they will bid for your work, and whoever gives you the cheapest and the better. They do amazing work because they're from all over the world.
Yeah, they could be in India, probably, you know, or wherever. They'll do the work for you.
You'll pay them pennies for the job. It's actually really good.
And they do a great job. There's a bunch of places like Canva is really good. It's inexpensive, but if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not an artist, not gonna be like.
One of
Right.
the, our church, when I very first did the logo, it was a much more modern one. It didn't, to look at it, you wouldn't have known until you read the word church. But the more I got to thinking about it, no matter how people look at it, the cross is still the symbol. So then I went back and said, okay, I don't want to steer so far away from tradition that I lose the cross. And so I said, how can I do that? And as I was creating, because I drew that one all myself, and when I first did it, the whole center was red. And I got to looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, if I make that top one blue, then there's a T, transformation. So it all kind of came together, you know what I mean?
Exactly, so you have brain like Carl and Bill think of stuff like that. Not all of us are gifted like that. We just went very simple, basic, because we were just wanting to get that started and launched. And that may be what you do at the beginning. You might change that a couple of years down the road. You know, you might come up with something better. But at the very beginning, just go with basic. Don't overcomplicate this,
Right.
and take away from what the real purpose of you being here is. Okay, because you'll put all your time into social media and all this marketing stuff, and you'll miss the point on. I'm here to preach the message to people. I'm here to reach people for the gospel.
What about your shirt? Is that for an event?
No, this is our new shirt. We just redesigned it.
Okay.
We got it about 2 weeks ago.
And your logo, I notice, is on the sleeve.
Yes, over here somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
Same logo. Just changed. We got a couple different things we've done. I'll show you at the end. There's a couple things I put on there at the very end that we've done. There's one that says for the 4-1,
Amen.
because our big thing. And that, so I left Walt Disney on there. That's terrible.
No, well, at least.
I was wondering what the Walt Disney was about.
I don't have a clue. But anyway, so make the logo, make it simple, we get help, like Ferber, you said Ferber, Canva, there's plenty of places out there to get help with. The college campus may have some kids that may wanna do some graphic design for you. And that goes for all of these, that actually goes for all of these things, they wanna help you with some of these things all the way through the process if you don't have that.
Yeah, if you go to the graphics design department, a lot of times they're looking for people to let them practice on what they're going to do.
Yeah. So use the resources, the building is here for a reason on the college campus, so ask Tom, ask Carl, ask these folks in here, you know, they have some connections. Some college kids work in your office too, don't they?
Right.
Yeah, exactly, so it's a resource, let's put them to help. They come to our church and work, so. Yep. So social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they're important because so many people see them. There's almost 3 billion users on Facebook. This is ridiculous. There's 1.32 billion users on Instagram. YouTube has 2.3 billion users. And you get that part as part of your Google account that you set up. That's why it's important to set up that Google account for your church, not for yourself. So that when they come looking for your videos that you put out later on, or whatever you're putting on YouTube, they can search for your church name and not my name, not Daniel Sellers, and look for me, and then they see my personal stuff on there. So that, make it short, simple, clean, professional, not complicated. It don't have to be something constantly on there. Just make sure what it is up to date. You keep it up to date, and keep good quality photos. And when you take photos of people and you put them on social media, make them of action, doing something, not just somebody posing for a picture. That'll be okay sometimes, but show the action, what you guys are doing, something that you're interacting with somebody. Show people smiling, show people that are you're talking to somebody. Show the action when you're throwing the ball around. If you're playing basketball, give the kids that playing basketball. If they're hunting Easter eggs, get them while they're hunting their Easter eggs, or whatever you do. Make sure there's action and things into it, and there's a reason for the picture, not just to throw a picture up there and just because, you know. It helped, like I said, young people, the resources are there to get help all the time. The average American in the documentation is about 4 hours now. Was 2 when I did this class last night. It's about 4 hours on social media every day. A lot of time. It's like wasted time. And there's a lot of other social media sites out there. There is TikTok, there is Twitter and those things, but I don't use those things. I'm an anti-TikTok person, I guess you might say. So I don't use TikTok, but it probably has as many users as Facebook does, and it's very popular with the young people. So you have to know who what audience you're trying to reach as you create this. If my audience is 30 and above, I need to think about that. If it's 30 and below, I need to think about that. And if it's a mix, I need to send out different things that attract each of those different groups of people. Because young people look at the internet differently than older folks do. Older people, 40 and above, may read a document. 20s and 25, they may scan a document. They're not going to read it. So make it short, concise, and to the point. That way they can get what they need out of it. The same thing with all your social media. Again, less is more. Okay. Don't try to do too much. So with YouTube, everybody does YouTube when you're starting off. You want to do YouTube videos. Use your phone. This phone has an extremely good camera on it. Almost everybody has a really good camera on their phone. You don't have to buy a camera, not do anything like that. And you can upload straight to your YouTube account or even Facebook or whatever, taking your pictures. You don't gotta invest in a nice, expensive camera. When you get further down the road, yes, that's great. Because you want to have church only devices. I don't want to use my device all the time for the church because mine or whatever, or Will's, if Will's at Carl's church, if they use a Will's phone and Will leaves or goes to Uganda for the summer, his phone goes with him. So if we're using his phone, it wouldn't do them any good. So when you use your own devices, we just upgraded. If you look at our website, our YouTube page, you'll see the difference in the video. Because we were using this little GoPro to shoot video with. Not a bad thing. Works really good. I got it for free, but it works really, really good. About $200.
You still have somebody's house?
They left it behind. See, because of my job, somebody did take it with them. But this works perfectly great. Great for the sound, but you got to put it up close. So when you start changing, you better get opportunity to get something better. You can move it back. So now we're recording from the back. That camera that I told you about, we have that now. And it works really well. So use your phone at first. You can get an adapter for a tripod.
Yeah.
Did this for a long time too, for like a year.
We're still doing that.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
do y'all use for that?
Phones, phones of a tablet.
Different things. We have gone from using the phones at first, and then we used professional cameras. That's photo cameras adapted to transfer video to the laptop. Is a whole science, but you actually need a USB that has an HDMI in, not out, so that the image could come in anyway. So we use that. And right now, we switched around where we're only using iPhones with this thing called Switcher, which is a multi-camera setup, and there's an iPad controlling everything, different scenes going on. It's good, a little bit too pixelated for my taste. I rather prefer the professional cameras, but it depends on the software that you use to be able to stream services.
We don't stream. Streaming is great. We went away from streaming.
We did too.
We do upload to YouTube,
That's what we.
but if you want to see the service, you need to come to church and live, and that's just to get people to come. People were copping out and staying at home in their pajamas and watching, and it was hard to get people to come back to church because everybody was streaming. Everything was online.
Yeah.
So we used to stream. We stopped. Now everything is on YouTube. So usually by Sunday afternoon, Monday, I have the sermon uploaded to the YouTube so they can watch it. Then you can share those links to Facebook or wherever you want to share them to, and they can watch them there. So that's a purpose.
The reason that we quit streaming was because for months and months through COVID, I could not get anyone to read scripture. I couldn't get them to pray. I couldn't get anyone to respond to an altar call. And one day somebody just kind of mouthed off and they said, as long as you got that stupid camera going, nobody's going to do anything. And it never hit me because I got to be in front of the screen all the time. I wasn't thinking. And so we told everybody we're no longer live streaming, and we do the altar call after the camera goes off. And so now I don't have any problem getting people to read scripture or pray. Still wish people responded more to the altar call, but that was our reason for doing it. It's because a lot of people won't get in front of the camera.
So there's multiple reasons why, you know, a lot of people will turn their camera off right after the preaching ends, so they don't have to worry about that. When he just said that people just someone got a camera when they come up to respond to something. So we'll shut it off right after the preaching is finished, so that person that is camera shy may come to the front if possible, or just, you know, some of the things you don't want to show on TV.
It is real problems. We got a lot of, I would say I have a lot of points and discussions about the issue of having a live streaming video versus have a recorded one. One of them is that live streaming video is telling the people, don't come to church, you can watch it at home. That is one. The other one is that it brings the sensitivity issue of ethic, because the thing that goes in a live service doesn't go well on social media. And all of a sudden, if you have that camera shy person, I actually had people come to me and tell me, I really wanted to praise the Lord, but because the camera was on top of me, I just decided to just be still, because I don't know what's acceptable and what's not. Little things like that it's making us think about it, but we still stick to streaming, because the good side of it is that we are reaching out even countries that we never dreamed that we were gonna reach out to, and it's worth it streaming for those people. We have another proposal, which will be stop streaming and then record the service, clean it up, and then post it for next Sunday. It won't be live, but people will benefit from it.
Another reason for not streaming also is, you know, it's great that people all over the world can see it, but we're here, and I'll show you when I show you one of the logos that we created. We're here to reach those people in that neighborhood that church is in. We're here for a specific reason in downtown Clean. We're there for that community that's there, and a lot of them don't have internet at home. They have a phone that has a little bit of data, so they don't have time to stream. So we're trying to reach those people that are in that neighborhood. So it's not, yeah, it's great that it goes out over the internet and the whole world can see it, but we're really dedicated to that 4-1 zip code there in Killeen, and that few miles around the church, and trying to reach those folks.
And getting it out there, I've gone back and looked at some sermons that I preached months ago, and I mean, they may have 3 views, you know, and so unless you're really getting it out there, hey, you guys in Uganda, you know, get people to watch Pastor Carl's message. Well, they're wanting to get people to watch their message, you know, so, you know, and I don't know what the probability of somebody just randomly getting on YouTube and coming across Pastor Carl's sermon last week, you know, and I'm not saying that if they didn't watch it, they might say, hey, I want to watch this guy more often, but the views that we have don't show that. And I haven't had any responses. Hey, shouting out at you from, you know, Zimbabwe, good message, Pastor Carl. I don't ever get that. So if I started seeing more of that, I might think more like, hey, we ought to do that. But
The reason for recording the message, we have a few people that aren't able to come to church. So we're able to put that on a stick, and so we can bring it to them. Or they're, because
our children's workers miss the sermon every week, so they're able to go back and watch this.
Because we have children's church during service, so they're in the class. We have the nursery people, like my sister who's in nursery 3 weeks out of the month. She doesn't get to come and watch the service, so I can go back and watch that.
And that's why we do it.
We have one family that is coming for a month already from Dallas, because they were watching the service through the stream, and they got so with this desire to follow that they start coming, and they have been faithful.
Did they say what connected them?
The service in the Facebook.
How'd they find it?
Well, through recommendation from.
It's organic growth, because the YouTube algorithm won't work unless you do something really horrible that everybody goes like, oh, I like that. You know?
So what we should be doing is going to Carl's page and liking Carl's video, his sermon that's on YouTube, going to your site and going to everybody's site that we're friends with that has a church. We should be going and liking and sharing their videos. That way that does increase their views, so it helps you on Google.
That's just organic
They need also, because from different churches, they have been in different churches, they have 3 kids, and the 3 of them are autistic. So they just throw them out of the church.
That every church.
Yes, so
They told me
they listen to the service.
Yeah.
They communicate with us, and my husband and I, we went to visit them. And the surprise was that we think we did what we could for them. We pray for them and everything. So let's go back home. And the next day they were in the church. So it was a surprise.
So there's all kinds of reasons why we do the things we do. That depends on what your purposes and what you're trying to do. So there's no right or wrong reason for doing whatever you're doing. As long as you're reaching for the same goal and share the gospel with people. You know, that's what. So if your social media is not for that purpose, then I don't know why you're having, because we're having church, and this is about. So it's not reaching that person, you know, it's just kind of.
Well, I preached probably the greatest resurrection sermon I ever preached Sunday, so if y'all wanna like it, y'all go right ahead.
But that's a true statement though, if the more people that we, as friends and stuff, like Carl's videos and my videos at our church and your videos at your church and those things, it helps us each on that social media site to get more views and those things, so it gets around more people. That's what your purpose is, to get that out there. Some of the good things about recording a sermon though is maybe I can go back and look at that and critique myself. It's like I preach 4 or 5 times a year. I don't know, very rare. So I like to go back and see myself preach. I really don't like to see, but it's good to go back and see. I mean, I'm like, you know, to be able to tell you how it was.
I can tell he's your brother.
Yeah. It's terrible. When you're learning something and you're trying to critique, it's hard. That's terrible. It's bad.
Hey, Carl's got some sheets you can hand out to your congregation that'll, that they can critique you on top of it.
Sheets, but
I've seen it done.
I want the feedback.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I want people to tell me if what I did wrong or what I did good. Tell me. Don't just always tell me it's good. That's all you do is tell me it's good just because you're gonna make me feel good. I have joy. It's based on the Lord.
Hey, that was good. What did I preach about?
That's one thing with our church.
Mhm.
We say it how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're thinking.
All the time.
Yeah, tell me. Exactly. You don't say that, but
I don't know why.
you don't want to hear that, but So social media is very important. Short little things, you can post your events on there. You're having this going on this weekend. Like we have block parties every month. So all of our events are posted on there through that website, through Facebook. And then that Facebook post is also on Instagram, because Instagram and Facebook are kind of linked together.
Yeah.
So what you can kind of do both on both kind of thing. So it helps a lot. So social media is extremely important.
I don't know, and if I'm getting ahead of you, just tell me, and I'll hush, but I had a pastor that I was coaching this week. And he said that he's not good at celebrating. And I said, then you need to find somebody in the church that is, and kind of let them walk alongside you, because celebrating what God is doing is important. Well, they just had 2 baptisms on Resurrection Sunday. And I said, did you get pictures? Are they on your Facebook? Are they on your Instagram? He goes, oh my goodness, we didn't take any pictures. And he's not in a small church either. And I said, do you know why? Because it's not the pastor's responsibility. You need a photographer and put it out there. They don't need anything. Give them something, right? But they need to have a heart for doing it. So my guy this Sunday, we had baby dedication. He came all the way up at the front of the church and he's snapping pictures, and then he comes up to me after the service and said, hey, I'll send these to the family first, make sure they're okay with them, and I'll get them on Facebook and get them on the website. So it's not just the social media aspect, but who do you have set aside to get the stuff that needs to go on there is important too.
Because you're up there preaching, something be going on that you need to get a picture of, you know, or you're doing an event and you're busy, like we're always busy doing stuff. Somebody, who's gonna get those pictures of the event so they can kind of make a history of your church, what's going on, for one, and then celebrate those things that happen. And Facebook and Instagram and YouTube are great places to put those short things, you know, that people could just see and boom, wow.
And we try to get the pictures of baptism, like when they're going underwater and when they're coming up. That's that action part, like, oh wow, they're baptizing somebody, you know, so.
And that's a great event to be able to video as well, that I got baptized, or this person got baptized, and they could send that to their family. We baptized a gentleman
4 years ago. He was in our life group.
In ours?
And then we were able to send a CD home, a CD to his grandmother who doesn't have any internet.
Are you talking about, big tall guy who drove the truck?
No, that's Nick.
Okay, yeah.
No, but we were able to send that to him and then. Youth memories of that, he was killed a year later in a stabbing in Georgia. But his grandmother has that video.
I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, he's gonna have that video and she has that to hold on to the rest of her life. And you could see, you know, he went to heaven because he was baptized and it changed his life and if I could change, but it was still like things happen. And that was it, able to be there to share that with his family and because they're not here. That's great. That's why video is extremely important. And Facebook's important. You're celebrating something in church and you have people that see that from wherever you can send it, they can send that to their families and things like this. And it's going to our church and there are other churches around the place can see it. BBA can share some of those pictures and some of those things. So pictures are very important. Just make sure they're quality pictures of people actually doing action, not somebody just sitting there. Like you all take a picture of that and post it on Facebook for what's the purpose? You know, have a purpose behind what you post. But also, like you said, get people to do that for you. You can't do all of this yourself. You know, y'all have somebody home. Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's in charge of the app and the website, but even having a person doing that is extremely overwhelming. Building a site, building a website with the new tools that they have online, which you're gonna mention a few of them.
Yeah.
They use this thing that's called what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it's called by the term of the industry. So they don't require any HTML or code to build a website. No knowledge. It's just drag and drop. You know,
Yeah.
make everything fancy and pretty. And even with that,
It's confusing.
it's so daunting and
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
You need a few weeks probably just to get everything just nice and figured
I
out.
was really shocked because I thought that I was gonna have a harder time building our app for like our phone app where they go in and check our times and you know do their guidance and I thought that was gonna be more complicated and no. I was able to do that without no problem, but the website is the one that I'm struggling with.
So the website you can make it simple,
Yeah,
easy, or you can make it complicated. There's two ways to look at the website. We're talking website, that's the next deal here is website setup. So when you're starting a church, one of the very first things you need to do is go and get that website domain name purchased and have that for yourself. Figure out something short, simple that relates to your church. Okay, you don't gotta put your whole church name in there.
You do if your transformation.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have a choice, like
I don't have a choice.
I didn't create it, so it is what it is.
Oh, the 2 billion churches made transformation.
Yeah.
There's one that
It's
got,
not just that, we tried to use TCC,
It's taken.
we tried to use, you know, we tried about, I bet you a dozen different things to shorten it, and it was taken.
Yeah.
So,
Ours is newsunsetchurch.org, so it's kind of long. I think that's actually kind of long. It's like my job, we have a website, it's LoneStarRealty.net. It's too, you want to make it as short as possible, but it still has to remind people of your church. They have to remember your church when they're looking for that website.
that's right. You worked that long side too.
Yeah, I think it's still, yeah,
It's
it's
still there too.
not going anywhere.
really,
That's a church for maybe somebody.
I think on the, in churches, it's better to go with .org.
And there are many other there's
.tv.
there's .church or something like that now, and there's all kinds of .this. So,
hey, there's a .de.
so you may check your domain name in that you want to use. You may change it from .org to .something else, and it may work. But you gotta remember those .org and .com are the most common or .net. Those are the most common ones that you're gonna find out there. So people are gonna remember that, because you want people to remember that website. And you know, so when they go, they're gonna find it really easy.
You can do .de. That's what
And so there are some things to get the domain registered. The domain name is .com or .org, most of what we use to address your church. Make it, like I said, as short as possible. Register as soon as possible, because then those things start getting sold. And some of those different ones cost different amounts of money. They different varying amounts of money. If you're already doing a right evaluation,
replant, you may already have this step done if your church is already in existence, like ours was already there. So we didn't have to change anything. There are many companies that do that for you. Most host sites can also register your domain name for you. So you can do that in one step and one payment instead of having this here and this over here. And then you'll be able to have email addresses addressed to that church name. So we have les@newsunset.org. We have Daniel. So you'll be able to have an email address that because you have that domain name now. You own that. You register, you actually don't own that domain name, unfortunately. You lease that domain name from somebody. So all that's been bought up. You should find one that's not bought and purchase it yourself. But most of those are leased, so you're paying every 3 to 5 years so much to keep that domain name. If you don't, they're gonna take it from you, and so you got to keep that up as well. So that's a constant payment you have to make. You can pay a bunch of thousands of dollars and actually buy a domain name, but that's expensive.
Yeah, the domain name is like the street address for your website, and unfortunately, it doesn't link automatically to your website. There's one particular place that if a person is a little bit gifted on computers, they could get a domain from WordPress.org.
Yep.
Just to create a parking page. A parking page doesn't have multi-pages, it's just one single page that says scheduled services, this is who we are, and stuff like that. When we get into getting the website to flourish and to be more broad, then definitely we have our personal website for the YouTube channel is Squarespace. They're not cheap.
No.
By any means of the word.
But it makes that building that website a lot easier. This is where also getting somebody to help you build the website is a great thing to come to a college and say, hey, I need some help with this, or Fervor, or one of these places again. And these places will build you a site, but you're talking several $1,000s, for a nice site and all those things. Depends on what you want, what you're looking to do, what's the you gotta know the purpose of your website. You gotta have why am I putting this here? What am I gonna do with it? What do I expect people to come here for? Our website is basic. If it comes up on there. Probably not.
Yeah. For churches, we started using this service that was called Share Faith. That had kind of like a Squarespace type of interface. It proved to be really tough to use, and that's where our church website is based at. And now we're using Subsplash, which integrates a website with an app on your phone. And we're working into integrating the whole thing and everything, but it's more like to have a team, not only to build it, but to maintain it.
Yeah.
For a small church, a parking page is the best because once you build it, you don't touch it. You're done.
So that's our basic website. It's very basic. There's not a lot to it. And we don't change it very often. That almost never changes.
What's the back end on the website?
That's a video that's a shot of
Yeah,
it.
video.
But it's based on WordPress or is based on?
It's either Squarespace or Wix. Can't remember.
Oh, okay. I don't.
But that video, one of the kids from, we have connections to First Baptist in Belton, that's where our pastor came from. And he knows kids that do all this stuff. So they came and shot a little short video for you. So, but it's simple, there's not much to it. Okay, it's easy to read. You don't have to scroll down very much to see the basic information. It's easily transported to a phone, because most people are probably looking at their website on a phone or a laptop or something like that.
And a lot of times they say young people, if they don't see movement, then they figure the site's outdated.
Yeah, that's why we put the video, because we do think about that, and
Most all of the larger churches, when you go to their website, something is moving. The background is moving, or there's a short video. And a lot of those are like Vista. Theirs is the Vista.tv.
Yeah, that's the TV's new up and coming dot.
Right, that almost guarantees that it's video driven.
Yeah, so ours is very simple. It just has 4 pages. They're very simple. They just tell a little bit about the church. So that's just basic. You don't want a whole bunch of information on the website.
The only thing that I would say with the young person that would make that better is if the words were bigger.
Yeah,
home, leadership, connect and give, like from here, I can't even hardly see it.
yeah. It's made for mostly a mobile page. That's where most people are seeing our website at. And you can find those things out through different avenues. I'll go back to that later.
No, but that's great. That's great.
But that was done by, somebody here at UMHB.
You're not allowed to tell,
Huh?
you're not allowed to tell.
I don't know who did it. I don't do this stuff anymore. I used to when Pastor Ed was our pastor, I used to do all this stuff, videos, like all this stuff. I don't do this anymore, so it's kind of not my main job anymore. I have so many other things that I do, but I do have roles in it. I take pictures, I do videos, I edit things, and I know how to do all these things. Kind of like going to my job, you do it all there too. So whatever needs to be done, I do. So choose the way be thoughtful about that, short yet identifiable, very good as soon as possible. There are many companies that you can use. Like Blue Hosting, Squarespace, and HostGator. Our actual webpage, our domain name is hosted by HostGator. It's a decent website, but if you're using it to give you email as well, you need to change from HostGator because it'll not do very well with large quantity email. But that's where ours is at still. We haven't changed it from there since we already paid for it for 5 years. So
We use Namecheap.
there's lots of them. Those are the 3 top main ones that are out there that are used.
What do you use on?
Namecheap, they're cheaper. They're basically cheaper, right? It's all the same. All these guys, they just own the domains and they lease them.
Because in reality, there's only like 2 or 3 places that actually have the actual website hosting. Okay, and then all that's it's complicated. So I don't want to get into all that. So there's only a few places that actually hold the ownership of those websites, those places. Only a few people actually own them, and they lease those people. These companies also pay them money to get access to those names. If that makes any sense.
Monopoly.
Kind of, most things are. So the first thing you want to go back to our website. You're talking about this too, that website. Oh, come on. Yeah. But this is like our welcome page. This is the home page. So the welcome page is short, simple, with as little scrolling as possible, easy to navigate. One of the things that we don't have on here that I think is on the first page to have on here, that we don't have, that is to have the service times right here on this page. Because sometimes that's all they're looking for. That's all they want to see.
And direction.
When you're having a service, we have, so they're looking for that information right here. It may get on a scroll down. If I scroll down on that. I do this one. Yeah, so you scroll down, you see all that stuff right there. And it shows our different services there. So it's easy to get to, and then right at the bottom it has a contact. You want to get in contact. That's extremely important too. So when I ask a question,
Yes, sir.
they can easily find that. So that's easily get access. So you want to keep the home page simple. And then that some of the other pages you might want to have like about us page. We call ours something else. But an about us page that tells about you, maybe some history about your church. So who the leadership is in your church, who those people are, a little bio about that, about the pastor, and maybe some other prominent leaders in the church. About us, what your beliefs are, what your mission statement is, what you believe about different things that makes you who you are. What theology you believe in.
Statement of faith.
Yeah, statement of faith and those things. That'd be on your about us page, tells about you. You have a giving page, so people can go and give you money, so they don't have to be there. It's great when people who live 1,000 miles away can give you money. It also makes it simpler for your church people. I don't have any cash. I don't carry cash. We don't have an ATM machine at the church to go and donate money with. So that giving online is hugely important. And it's going to become even more important as we go along in the future. So setting up that page, a giving page, And then I'll talk a little more about giving, because you can't just, okay, how does that work? You have to have a company that processes those payments and stuff for you. So you gotta look at those, there's many of those, Share Faith does some of that stuff, Tidely does that, we use,
Flash does it all for us.
yeah, so there's different places that do different things for you, depending on what you're doing, we use Planning Center for that. And Planning Center also will do other things for you as well, like your church management software can be run through that, and everything can go through that. So, anyway, back to the website, so that, sorry, guys.
Planningcenter.com, they have an amazing giving app, and also I think their registry of members of the church is for free.
Yes, it is.
So you can have all of the members of the church in there, but then they're not that good at some other aspects. I think that's why we left that.
Tidely does that same thing. A lot of your websites like that will do the church membership.
Yeah, so we do giving through them, it's simple to set up, it's inexpensive, and they gave us they had a special when we signed up for it first too. So you gotta look at all those things, because each site's gonna charge you a different amount for different things, so much per transaction.
We try to, and it doesn't always work, but we try to tell our congregation, if you give on Tidely, pay the
Yes,
fee with your tithe, and that way the
Yeah.
church doesn't have to pay for it. But
and
we still end up with fees.
Yeah.
get them to use the ACH with their check number in there when you're doing that, because that's gonna save them tons of money.
You know, it's funny that you say that. Cause I was helping a member in the church put the app on their phone and stuff, and I was telling them my words, and I told them, you know, you also can go ahead and pay the fee for the bank, and she was like, I'm already paying for my tidings, I also have to pay a fee.
Yeah, it should be
Yeah,
cheaper.
what people don't understand
Like, okay, you have to
Yeah,
pay.
is unfortunate,
Pay a fee
because
for using your debit card.
Right.
Yeah, because they get like $1.
yeah,
per
invites the customer, the congregant, as well as invites the church, and that is because any method that we use for giving is using a backend financial institution. In
Right.
this case, they use Stripe. Stripe is a backend for giving, and Stripe charges premium
Yep.
for the transactions.
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
like 2 something,
yeah, but that's
the most I
doesn't
paid
fee.
was like 2 something I've paid, I've always paid my.
And you
fee.
click the button on Planning Center and it automatically puts that in there for you, you don't.
Yeah, like you don't wanna put physical cash, this digital plate will cost you a fee type of thing.
Yeah, there's all, you gotta shop around what works for you, and what's easiest to set up, what works best for your congregation. You know, all those things are important to consider, you know, and you can get in a lot of meetings on these things. Who's processing those fees? PayPal is one you can use, but some people don't like PayPal because of some of the things they're involved in.
Yeah.
So they'll stay away from PayPal.
The problem is, how do you translate that to pay the IRS later for taxes? It's the databases of transactions, not all of them come clean into accounting software.
So Planning Center does that very well.
It does that very well.
So it'll be easy to get the stuff. It's quick, it's fast, you know, it takes about usually 2 days, 3 days tops. You get your money into your bank, and they send you emails and stuff about that. So it's very simple to set up. So the second page is I was talking about the giving page that needs to be on there. You need about your leadership. I call that the about us page. Like I said, I didn't build the page. So it's a little bit different. So it'll be like an about us page, talk about leadership and list people that people that are people interested. So we'll really have 2 people in the leadership of our church. So this is the pastor and the church administrator. So we don't have a lot of leadership. People do a lot of leadership work, but they're just considered members at this point in time.
That issue didn't want people to leave.
I didn't want a picture on it either, so.
Well, one of the things that we put is our children's leader, because if it's a young person, you know, they like to see that there's somebody in charge of the kids, and we have associate pastors and stuff.
So it's good to have that information on there so people can check and see who you have doing different things, so they can see that there's legitimate people on there. So I think that's in the bios about that. I don't have a bio on there. And this brief history about the church, things that tell about the church, so people get acquainted with the church, like the, now you have our connect section, I think we have that on our current website. So it just tells you how to get connected. This is how to get to our social media stuff, so you won't see a lot of pictures. Our website's designed to be, pretty much static. That means it doesn't change very often, so it doesn't require work, because we don't have a staff. We don't have much money to pay our staff, we pay the bills, and it's about all we got, you know? So keeping all that work very low, it's easy to do Facebook. It's more work to do Facebook, keep a website updated. You're changing dates on there all the time, you're doing all these things. It's a lot of work, so our website is very static, doesn't change very often.
Well, your point with that is because a lot of times people only go to the website if it's a first time they want to learn about the church, service times or whatever. Once they do that, like, I bet you in the past 3 or 4 months, I haven't been on our website for once because I have no reason to go look at it. You know,
Yeah, haven't been.
now Facebook and stuff is different.
I can't tell you last time I actually looked at our website. Probably was this time last year when I talked last time.
You guys are supposed to go to your website and like all the videos.
It doesn't change. It's static. So the website is gonna be based upon what you're trying to use your website for.
Right.
Ours is just for people come and visit and know a little bit about us. And maybe link to some of our stuff there. It's not a lot to it. There's nothing on there so much for membership stuff or anything like that. And as you grow and you get bigger, you have those things. You know, you can find those things, but it is updated. You see, you have some events on there. So, but it's out for a while. You notice this should already be taken off because we've already done these 2 things here. So websites get outdated really quickly. And a poorly updated website, they're gonna think that you're just not doing much in your church. Your church is outdated. So keeping that website up to date is extremely important. So keeping those dates out there and stuff is extremely important.
I visited a website recently and like the last pictures that they had posted literally was something like 5 years ago Christmas.
Yeah.
So you can tell very outdated.
That was our website. I couldn't give away. I got a full-time job.
Right.
I got a family. And then work at the church and then do the website. It was bad. We took it down as soon as possible, put up like a landing page, you know, where it just is under construction basically. And then built out a few pages, just put a few things on it, tells you what we do. And it basically just tells you a little bit about us. So the main pages that you need to have, we don't have one, I don't notice on there because I didn't look. I don't use it, is a map to get to your church, directions, okay? The service times, which is on that first page. And those things are easily found, so when they know when to come to your church, you know, what you have for their kids when they come to your church. Extremely important. So website is daunting, it's a huge deal. But if you use these different places, like you said, they're set up almost like using a word processor, like using Word to some degree. Drag and drop your pictures in there. They have already set up templates for you to use. So these different places like Squarespace and Wix are very simple to get something started, basic, you know, and setting up those things to do. So using those is simple. Getting people to help you with that have a little bit of experience with those things is good. Nobody codes websites anymore. Well, I guess they do, but not most websites aren't done with coding. So you don't need to know coding. You don't need to be an expert at anything. Just be basic computer knowledge, and you can start a website. It's not as hard as it seems. Keeping it updated and relevant is the hard part. Right.
I have a question for you. You may get this to it a little later, but you know, you talk about being able to give through the website, but can you give through Facebook?
Can you give to Facebook?
You can have a link.
You can. You put the link in Facebook.
Okay.
There is some Facebook giving, but we don't use that. I think they charge a large fee for that too. I don't know how that works. We've never done it. You can donate through Facebook to different causes and things like that. And you can, Yeah.
Yeah, and again, for the church, it becomes an accounting nightmare when the money's coming from non-official.
10 different places.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it becomes a total nightmare.
Yeah, so we wanna keep that as little as possible. One place is the best to go. You got that First Baptist where we're at, they're huge, so they have a lot more people to work these things and do these things. So in a small church, when we're starting a new church, I've got myself and maybe my wife or my brother, a friend that's helping me with this, yeah. You know,
Brother.
yeah, exactly. But you don't have a large group people pull from. You have 4 people here that help you with everything. And, and that's, you may stress it out because you're doing too much, so, I mean, so you want to keep everything simple, keep it easy, okay?
One of the things that Daniel said that is highly important today is if young people especially, and Daniel is over 50, and he said he don't carry cash, but actual young people, like in their 20s, they don't even know what a checkbook is. Honest, the truth, my daughters have never even seen a checkbook, they've never had one, they've never written one, and they don't carry cash. So and they give spontaneously. So when the offering plate is going around, or at that time that your church is talking about giving, they'll pull out their phone and go to a site if you have one. But if you don't, by the time they leave, they done forgot about giving.
Or you just go to point of sales terminals, stick it in the place.
If you have a barcode scan, a QR code, that should be about enough for anybody to point your phone at that.
If you do like that, that's simple to do. You can do that with Google. It's built into Chrome now. You create those QR codes very simply, very easily. Scan it with your phone. You can throw it up on the screen. Hey, give here. You're talking about giving at the end, or when you do that, you're mentioning that. Have that pop on the screen, and then boom, it takes you there. So yeah, that's very easy. Now, talk about the logo. Go back there real quick. This is another logo we kind of created for the 4-1. That's our big deal. We're for the 4-1, and that's why we're there. So you'll see us all over.
What is the word?
4-1 is the 76541 is the zip code where the church is at, and that's why we exist, to make disciples, that make disciples in the 4-1, to make the community better. So that's why
that's great. A great slogan too.
Yeah.
So you're on the 4-1-4-1.
Yeah, exactly. So it's huge, and you get that. And you could find that one quick little quirk that, how you want to say it, that that little saying that just sticks in people's minds. It's simple. That's great, and you can use that over every morning. So, like I said, some of the website landing page, which is the homepage, about us page, certain ministries you may have, you may want to put those on there. So you talk about your children's ministry, what you offer, different things you may offer. Contact us, so they can contact you. Make that quick and easy to get to, so they can send you an email right from your website. If you're gonna have links to sermons, some people put their sermons on their website. That takes up space, and space costs money.
We just put a link to the YouTube. Yeah.
So you can put your social media links on there, so they can go find your YouTube, they can go find your Facebook, they can find your Instagram, or if you're doing Twitter or TikTok or whatever you're doing, they can find those things out there. And do those easily. Those are some of the main website pages that have. The more pages you have, the more navigation it takes, and the more work it is for you, and the harder it is for them to navigate your page. So it's less is more. Quality over quantity.
Why do you keep saying your boss's name?
Less is the best.
Ow.
So keep it short, keep it easy, keep it less. Like I said, less is more. I'm gonna say that a lot, because less is more. People want to put so much out there, and then their page is overcrowded and it's all over the place. Keep it short and simple. Keep your sentences short and simple. Quality over quantity, short and to the point. Simple but thorough. Make sure what you're getting out there gets across the information you get across, and then make sure that it's eye catching. Seek out help. Get help from people. Ask questions. There's resources out there that you can use to do some of these things. In a website. I'm gonna show you some video. I'm gonna show you a video, and then what time you guys quit? When you're done. When you're done.
No, don't tell them that.
Don't tell me that.
Classes are from 6 to 9, but when you're
Look, he's in bed at 9 o'clock, so you guys don't have to worry.
But anyway, starting out early with this stuff is important. once you get the ideals in your head, what you're coming, and you know you're gonna be planning a church and starting that church, you get the name, get those things, the logo, do that early as possible. Get the registering that domain name early as possible.
So one thing that Daniel's church is this way. Few churches, the further you get out of Killeen, the two things that we like people to see on our website is when it comes up, it's a picnic table with some people sitting and there's a styrofoam drink cup. And there was strategy in that because we're reaching a lower socioeconomical group. And so if your website reflects this very refined, perfect atmosphere, but your target audience is common everyday average folks, they're gonna look at that and go, what kind of church is that? That's not for me. And on our church, we want you to see black, white, and every shade in between. So our church is diverse. And we want people to see there's black people at our church, there's Puerto Ricans, there's Mexicans, there's white. So those are two main things. We are reaching a lower group and we're diverse. So
And that's important when you first are calling this mission to start a church, is know who your demographic is, who you're reaching. That's why we have that opportunity through Bell Baptist to get some of that demographic information about your neighborhood, where you're gonna be planning a church, and you know those things, and know who you're reaching, you know, when you're setting up the church, even from the very beginning, before you think about this stuff, already have an idea of who God has called me to reach, who those people are. What's the neighborhood look like around my church? Because you can be confused. People come to 401, they think it's mostly black people. It's not the truth. That's actually a false thought. 32% of people live in that neighborhood are Hispanic, and it's 27% black and 26% white.
yeah, so you're almost a third, and a third.
So it's very different than what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So most people think that it's mostly black people in that neighborhood, but it's not.
So like if your video going across it had a bunch of guys in suits and ties and women with fancy jewelry on, you know, that's gonna misrepresent. So your website needs to actually reflect who you are.
And that goes, I mean, that knowing your demographic and knowing who you're reaching also goes in how you present yourself inside the church. How do I dress? Who am I reaching? What do people think? Do I need to wear a suit and tie to church? It's not required. It doesn't say that in the Bible.
Nope.
So I gotta wear a certain tie, like Carl likes to dress a certain way when he preaches. That's him. That sets him apart.
I don't dress like this.
Yeah,
I had a funeral today.
yeah, no, but you don't dress like that. But you have a certain style that you
Exactly.
preach. Yes. If you see Carl preaching, you wear that same suit most of the time.
I don't ever wear a suit
Okay, so there you go.
because I'm reaching a lower,
Yeah.
I'm reaching a crowd.
Yeah,
that's
that suits will turn off some of those folks, right? Yeah, so we don't wear suits or no suit and tie in our church anymore. We used to, but we weren't reaching the community. That's why we're in the position we're in today. That's revitalization, because we weren't reaching the community. So we totally revamped everything. So there's no more suit and tie. It's casual, you know.
And your pastor has a little boy's face, but his body looked like he came from the hood.
I see it, yes.
He's tattooed up, yes, he has lots of tattoos, so it kind of goes, he uses that as a way to reach people. People ask him about that in the neighborhood, you know, because that's the neighborhood you live in, and so they see that, so that's a drawing point.
He looks like Ed Towns.
It's a drawing point in our community, is
Should see the first.
the appearance.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't want to cover up that, you know, he's not trying to show off that, but it is a drawing point. Yeah, your tattoos might, someone may come and ask you about your tattoos. You
Well,
know?
what's y'all's 401 logo?
Mhm.
The first thing that sticks out is La Rube's tattoos.
We don't know why that's there, do you?
That's where he gets his tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
That's where he gets his, I think that's where he gets his tattoo. It might be, I don't know if that's true or not. But his tattoo shop is there in the 401. Okay, so it is located there. We try,
You gotta do all your shopping in 4-1?
we try to do a lot of things in the 401. You have the people that make these shirts are in the 401. The people that we do a lot of business with are in the 401, but we try to, because that's our goal, is to do the 401. So, you know, why would I go to somewhere else if I can get it here, you know?
Yeah, you guys are on an incredible path. Just keep stay focused. That's all I gotta say, cause y'all are doing it.
It's a tough job, don't get me wrong. I go almost most week,
You know what most people would do? They would go online and have some online printing place do it.
it's easier.
Yeah, instead of going to, you know, what is that thing, shop local, you know, and people know my favorite places to eat are 4 blocks from the church. It's a little Mexican meat market, and that's where I go.
It's not 4 blocks.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, there's not much in the 401, you guys are Killeen, right?
Yeah,
There's not much in the 401, there's no grocery store there, there's not
No.
places to shop, but if you can
No.
find a restaurant, go to Galaxy Burger, great.
Yeah.
There's the Mexican restaurants that are there, there's a lot of restaurants.
There's a Greek.
It's okay.
That Greek place is good.
So a lot of places to go to 401 to eat food, it's great for that, but shopping, nothing to shop.
There's no groceries there.
They closed down the HEB.
Yeah, that makes it hard.
They close everything.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Oh, there's still a convenience store there.
The
It's
ones
not very convenient.
No.
that got the bars on the window.
They're expensive.
Right.
They're very expensive. If you live there, you're paying the top dollar for that convenience store. So another thing is, in creating Google accounts and things of that nature, you create a business profile for your business, so you own that address where you're at. You can take ownership of that, and then that way you can get, when you type in your name, it'll pop up, it shows that, as you own that, so it's important to get that, connect your physical location with Google Maps, so it's easier for them to find you, allows you to connect your, search for churches near me, they'll see that come up, you can put information there will be relevant to the future as well, you can put the service times in that Google, profile, you can put all those things in there, your phone number, your web address, your physical address, service time, so you can add that to your Google business account, so it's important to set that up as well, pretty early on, when you got a location and you know you're gonna be at this place, so they can easily find that and link your name to that physical location. So they type in New Sunset, boom, there's New Sunset, there's the picture, there's a picture there from Google, and there's the address, so I can go click on that, there's their website, click right there, so it's all right there. So you have all that right there. You should have had photos, even a video you can add there too. One thing I'll tell people is there's a thing called Google Grant, if you're trying to do these things, Google Grant's extremely, I've never done it, but it's out there. You can apply for a Google Grant and you get $10,000 from Google to do a lot of these things.
Oh, really?
Did we get the Google Grant?
I don't think so.
No, what we got is, we did have, there's an organization called TechSoup, which they qualify nonprofit organizations if they're really nonprofit. And then they give you grants, whether it is to get a Google Suite, which is what we have at church. All of our email addresses are rosa@sesemore.org, Joe, Evelyn, Kelly at sesemore.org, and it becomes now a suite that you need to administer. That usually costs a lot of money. It's all run through Google, but Google gave us a grant. For as long as we are truly a nonprofit, we're contributing to the community, and we don't say anything about gender ideology, which that's kind of tricky, but they will check on that. But past that, then, you know.
Yeah, TechSoup gives you a lot of benefits to many things, discounts on this, that, many
Yes.
tons of things. And it's easy to get into and set up, you know, and get those things up.
What do you call it again?
TechSoup,
TechSoup.
just like it sounds, TechSoup, one word.
Not everything is free, but
Google and you
great
find,
discounts.
yeah, it offers all kinds of things that you can get into. I mean, they'll give you discounts on office products, all kinds of things, you know, they'll give us a lot of stuff in there. Website information, training, teaching, all kinds of things. Look at TechSoup, it's a big deal. So Google Grant is a really good thing to look at, because you get free money from them, up to 10, they'll give you $10,000 to do whatever you're gonna for your social media, for your stuff through Google and stuff like that. So they'll give you a bunch of money. Google wants to give away money to people. You're good. So that's something to check into, Google Grant. Like I said, we use Writing Center for that. Another thing is you need to check out the Bible app, the YouVersion Bible app. That's a great resource. It's free the way we use it. You can pay and get money and do more with it, but it's really simple. So when you go in, when you look at the YouVersion Bible app, Bible, that's great, you read the Bible to it, so it's a great resource for that.
Yeah.
But when you click on more on the bottom and you pick events, we're gonna, on Sunday, we're gonna pop up on this up
Oh,
here,
cool.
and you're gonna see us, right? So I save those events, so it's just gonna show all the churches around here that are doing stuff, dates when it is, and stuff like that. So you hit saved events, I've saved events. So you're able to go in there and put the scripture you're reading for the day on there. Just some notes here, you've got a lot of stuff. You can do the sermon guide on there, so put your sermons information on there. The memory verse of the month is in there. There's different events we're having. You can do, we put budget information on there. We don't print out a bulletin to give to people. This is our bulletin for Sunday morning.
That's pretty cool.
So you get the budget information on there, so we're doing budgeting. Tell you how you can give through this app, because it gives a link to our app. You can get the Wi-Fi information for the church. Tells you about children in the church. Link you to our website, YouTube channel. So the YouVersion Bible is a great free resource to put your church's information in on.
Yeah.
And people can search and find you on that. I got the version of the Bible app. I'm TDY at Fort Hood. Let me go to that, because the guy did that this weekend. He said he's TDY from where he's from. But he was here this weekend, he's been here for a month. He went to the YouVersion Bible app, and the first one that popped up was New Sunset. He looked at a bunch of different ones and he said, this one sounds pretty good. So he came here and joined us on Sunday to join us for the rest of the month that he's here. So it's a great way to, another way for people to find you and that, and also people can read the Bible through it. I mean, what more you want? It's used by a lot of people throughout the world. I can't tell you how many times that people use it. So there's different reading plans, and so I didn't use it for anything other than maybe read the Bible once in a while through it, and to save the events that we do at church, so that I have access to that later, because I cut and paste that stuff into.
That is very interesting because we use an app that centralizes everything, includes a Bible as well.
Yes, that's.
But the question is, where is the people actually act? Where are they parking? Do they park in a centralized app, or do they park in a public app, like the Bible,
Right.
the Bible app?
Yeah,
It's just quite interesting.
you can probably look on Google, they'll tell you how many people actually have access to it.
Yeah.
It's very crazy, and it's free.
Something to consider.
Yeah,
You don't pay any money for it.
the Bible app,
You don't, it's free to use, so if it's free, I wanna use it.
Yeah.
I'm cheap. We went and got a bus. Yeah, we're before one, you need something, go get it.
Are you done with my charger?
Yeah, it's at my house.
Okay. Well, I gave him my trickle charger.
But anyway,
Battery on
we
that.
borrowed a bus from First Baptist in Belton. I never took it back. But now they've given it to us, it's our bus now.
Well, I told you that last growth review, I told Les, I said, hey, just tell them that, you know, if they need it, you'll bring it back, but you're gonna keep it. Well, he told them that, and the guy went and talked to whoever needed to and just said, keep it.
Yeah, they voted on it, right? And it's ours now. We just wait for you to cut it from them. So, you know, huh?
Was it clean or built?
First Baptist, clean.
That's what I thought, 'cause
They got it.
when we did the men's thing.
So we got a bus now, so we use it as a bus ministry. What was that? I was gonna tell you about Google Forms. And I got it on my list here. Google Forms is extremely important because you want to do signups and stuff like. If you don't have apps or anything that's doing that for you, Google Forms is a great way to do that. That right there actually brings you to a registration form, we have a card you fill out when you're a visitor, but you can also hit that right there and it takes you to a form where you can put your information in, and it puts it on a spreadsheet that you look at, and then we can put that into our church planning center and put the information there as when you visit us, we have that information. That's very
That's
simple.
very good.
Mhm.
That's very good.
And Google Forms is free.
Yeah.
And they'll create that right there on the thing for you, and it's free. You can pay some more money to get a better looking one, but then. I don't know, if you need a better looking one and put some colors on it. You like what it's there.
It's on the Google form.
It's free.
Imagine
It's part of your Google.
putting a barcode scan and then people just.
We do, my Bible study class on Sunday morning, we do monthly questions. So one weekend out of the month, one Sunday out of the month, we don't teach, people ask questions when they have questions about things. So they'll go in and scan that barcode, they'll go in and put their question in, I'll get that question. And I'm going to answer that question for them. I'll send it to them, but also we'll talk about that Sunday morning so that they can ask questions.
That is super cool.
Yeah. Because we have a lot of people that aren't very churched. They have been in church all their life. They still don't know very much. So they have a lot of questions. So we allow them, we encourage them to ask questions. So they scan that app, they scan that code, and they get to that place, type in their question, and I can respond to them directly. It also puts it in a spreadsheet. I can share that with different people. So we have.
Yeah, we do that every single week. We have community groups.
Mhm.
And we take my sermon and they can ask any question they want from my sermon. And then I'll have some pre-scripted questions in case nobody has any. But,
Yeah, so Google Forms is good. If you're registering for VBS, you can use Google Forms. So it's gonna take all the information, put it in a spreadsheet, and you can take that spreadsheet, export it, and have all that out, and then put it in wherever you need to go with it. And it just, anything you can think of, you can do with Google Forms. You can customize them in different ways, in different things. So it's all online, simple, and it makes it, and it's free. When you're launching a church, starting a church, free is good. Okay, unless you're gonna somehow you have access to a lot of money. Most church plants don't have much money to start with. So that's a great place to start.
That's
Bless you.
I have lots of videos down here. And they tell you how to do these things, this information. I put Wix on the bottom there that was due this year and added. If you go to that Wix page, they're gonna tell you how to do all this website stuff. They're gonna give you teaching on how to do all that stuff. So you go to Wix on that. Here you go, here, if I click on Wix. Down here, I'll show you something. We may end up watching. Just gonna click on Wix. And you can see there. So they're gonna tell you how to do everything. This is gonna give you all the information you need to build a website. You don't have to be smart. You know. So Wix is gonna give you information, and you don't have to have Wix to use this information. It may help you in general with building a website in general, because a lot of websites use the same similar algorithms and different ways of building things, the same kind of layout. It's kind of the same. So Wix gives you that information, so you can go through. You does how to build your page, working with the layouts they have. It's specific to Wix, but I think some of that may help you in other places as well. And I think Squarespace has something like that. Squarespace is changing to see something. They're changing their name to something else, and they're changing. They're becoming different. What else was crazy? Squarespace is starting to change. They're going to be called Circle. And they went from
Square to circle.
I went back, when I was going back and updating my information, they're changing the Circle. And some of these things actually cost money for these courses on Squarespace. They're not free any longer. That's why I went and found Wix. Wix gives you some free information for that.
Well, you know, what gets me is, you know, why anybody charges it, anything, because you got YouTube. And YouTube has stuff on anything, you know, and it's free, you know, so, you know, I have to put up the advertising, but that's it.
This is a YouTube guy. This dude's really good on YouTube.
In this video, you are going to learn.
He's gonna tell you some basic. Watch this video.
Website in less than
He's gonna tell you how to build a church website really quickly. And
5 minutes.
there you go.
My name is Jake Goslin from churchroom.com. This is the channel that helps church leaders grow themselves and grow their church. Never miss out on our latest content by hitting the subscribe button. And if you find this resource helpful for your ministry, hit that like button as well. Would you believe me if I said you can build a brand new church website in less than 5 minutes? In a few moments, that is what I'm going to show you how to do. Of course, it is not going to be a complete church website, but it will be functional. I have built dozens of websites using Squarespace. It is the best website builder for churches because it's easy to use, has beautiful design, and it has low cost. I want to show you how quick and easy it is to start building your own website with Squarespace. All you need is a laptop or desktop and a solid internet connection. Here are 3 steps to building your church website in less than 5 minutes. Step number 1, go to squarespace.com and select your website template. Find a desktop or laptop computer and go to Squarespace squarespace.com and click the Get Started button. Here you can browse a list of template options for your website. The best templates for church websites are Bedford or Hayden. Select your template and follow the steps to set up your free Squarespace account. In less than a minute, you'll have a fully functional site. There's a lot of customization work to be done, but at this point, the site could go live if you enable your Squarespace subscription. It is insane how easy and quick it is to do this. Step 2, create your custom Squarespace domain. Before you start customizing your site, create a custom Squarespace domain so you have a memorable URL to navigate to while building your new site. Click Settings, Domains, and customize your built-in domain by replacing the auto-generated name with your church name. To log out of your site, navigate to your account profile and select Log Out. To log back into your site, navigate to your custom Squarespace domain and press the Escape key. Step 3, customizing your website. By now, you are beginning to learn how easy it is to work within Squarespace. On the left side of the window, you can add or delete pages, change graphic design, and customize other settings. I recommend spending a few minutes watching tutorial videos at support.squarespace.com. There you will learn the basics of how the website builder works. Try uploading your church logo to the new site by selecting Design, then Title and Logo. Next, delete all the demo pages you won't be needing by navigating to Pages and selecting the trash can icon. Add a custom banner image and a headline to your home page. Finally, underneath the banner, add your service times and a map with your church's location. What you've seen in this brief demonstration is why I love Squarespace. I did not have to know any code, and it took just a few minutes to get the basics of a church website up and running. Realistically, it takes a day or two to input all of the relevant content into your new website and have it be fully functioning. But there's no need to hire a professional web designer or developer to do this. Do not underestimate your ability to build and maintain a website. What is keeping you from building your new church website with Squarespace? What questions do you have about creating a new church website? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this video helpful for your ministry and it gives you the confidence to build your own church website. Share your love and opinions in the comments below and share this with other church leaders if you think it can help their ministry as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the Churchfront channel to continue to receive content that'll help you grow yourself and grow your church. In this video, you are going to learn how to build a church website from scratch.
So he tells you on Squarespace, you can do that very quickly.
Yeah.
It's not complicated, so don't let it overwhelm you. And like I said, there's videos, there's tutorials that will teach you those things. There's a lot of that stuff out there. So this guy, this video is, I'm not sure how long it is on. I like this guy. He talked to us.
I've got a question. Are you a pastor? Are you struggling to?
This is about 7 minutes. He's gonna tell you some things you can do to do your social media and those things and kind of give you some ideas that may help you with social media. I like this guy. He's pretty good. There's a lot of people out there. If you go to YouTube, you're gonna search for things. Be careful who you search for. A lot of people put basic stuff out there and they're doing that to make money. They're not really gonna help you much. There's a whole lot of people out there putting stuff on YouTube. So it's just gotta look at it and discern this discernment who you're gonna trust in telling you what you should be doing. Some of these people are talking, they're talking about building a website, but they have a big budget to do that with. Well, most of us don't have a big budget to deal with. We have no budget or a few $100 to do this with, so we don't have much budget here. So it's kind of important to be careful what you're doing. I like this guy. Listen to him right quick.
Grow your church social media, using the social media platform. If you do, I understand in this video, I'm going to show you how to use social media to grow your church. What's going on, everybody? My name is Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. Today, I do want to let you know that I'm also a former pastor. I pastored full-time for about 13 years as an associate pastor, and even prior to that, I have been involved in youth ministry, oh my Lord, for 20 plus years, and I do understand what it looks like to try and leverage social media to help you grow your church. Now, full disclosure, I have a marketing background. I worked in radio and radio sales. Wasn't quite the same as what social media is, But I remember when social media sort of came into the forefront and radio stations was even wondering, like, how are we going to compete with internet radio? How are we going to compete with live streaming? And I remember sort of that introduction. So as I left the radio industry and went into full-time ministry, I learned very quickly that there is a legitimate audience on the social media platform. So pastors, here's one of the things that I want you to focus on. Number one, in order to grow your church using social media, you're going to have to get super clear on who you are. Meaning, who are you at your DNA level, and what does the church do that's unique to your ministry? Now, here's what we know. Although we're called to preach the gospel and take it to the entire world, the truth of the matter is that even Paul said, look, I'll become all things to all people that I might win some. He was clear on the fact that there's a group of people that he was after, or in our language, in the ministry world, who are you assigned to? That's the question that you need to get answered. As soon as you answer that question, you recognize this is who I am at my core. My next question is, who are you? What do you do? Now, that question is really critical to answer because at the end of the day, the what you do is what will determine what social media platform is best for you. I've got pastors that I coach that are huge on the millennial space because what they do is add value to millennials in their church. Or I also have clients who are really huge in adding value to baby boomer generation. So that you have to know who you are, what you do. And the third question I want you to really wrap your mind around is getting an answer to why do you do it? Why is it that you feel specifically called to that particular group? There is an individual calling on every church leader, every pastor, and when you get super clear on what it is that you were designed to show up to do, it changes everything when it comes to connecting to your core audience on social media. So we said the who are you, what do you do, why do you do it? And then the other question, this really helps us to talk a little bit about social media. So who do you do it for? Now, most of you guys understand there's a specific message that God has given you, and you drill down on who you are, what you do, why you do it. When you answer the question of who you do it for, now you're starting to identify your target audience. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky, and people like me really desire to help pastors who are doing it, who are in the trenches, figure this one out. There's a reason you should be on Facebook versus Instagram versus Twitter versus you name the social media platform. Whatever the social media platform, please understand there's a specific audience that gravitates toward that platform. And one of the things that you're going to have to get super clear on is what is it that they want? We call it a pain point. When you identify the pain of the person that you're going after and where are they, it helps you to form your messaging so that you can connect to that audience. So let's say, for instance, if you're talking to a millennial who is struggling to figure out how their faith and how going to college sort of meshes, right? And maybe you have a specific message to that person. You may want to look at Instagram as to where you post that message. And then the content is important, but more important than the content to me is the consistency. How often are you willing to show up? Now, here is a fundamental mistake that many church leaders make. They think that just having a YouTube channel or just having an IG page or just having a Facebook page is enough. You have to have someone identified that can really, really focus on growing that effort. So at the end of the day, if you want to grow your church on social media, you have to identify first who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. That begins to help you lay out the framework, and then if you need to call me, if you need to connect to somebody who can help you form your messaging to connect to that audience, how to show up, what colors you need from branding on. We help people with that. You'll probably need somebody in your corner that can help you navigate through that. But at the end of the day, if the other stuff isn't done first, then none of the back end stuff matters. You can have the best equipment in the world, you can have all of the bells and whistles, but if you're not clear on your messaging, who are you, what do you do, why do you do it, and who you do it for, none None of the other stuff matters. So I hope this has helped you. If it's added value to you, do me a favor, comment below and let us know how we can be of assistance, because here's what I do know. At the end of the day, guys, we all need some help. Y'all be good. We'll talk soon. Hey, if you're not a current subscriber to our channel, do me a huge favor. Click the link, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so that you can know when we show up and update our videos. We go live weekly on Saturday mornings. We got a whole bunch of things happening. We sure would love to see you there.
Notice I always let it play to the end. Whoever that person is that put that media out there for you to watch gets more out of it if you watch it to the end. It helps their YouTube algorithm. So you always watch a video. If you're gonna watch it to the end, even if it's just this guy's picture here or where at least fast forward. So I always let it play. That's why you always notice I'm playing it to the end. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, he gets rebates for it.
He made it, and they make money on something like YouTube. So people make a living on YouTube. So I mean that's. But some of the things he mentioned in there, you know, knowing those things, it's not just important for your social media, it's important for your church overall. Why am I here? Who am I reaching? And who are these people that I'm reaching? I gotta know if it's millennials, how do I reach millennials? If it's middle age, and it's maybe even like you said, I need to know that, not just for my not just for my social media, but for what I'm doing in a church. How do I set up my ministries? You know, what do I do with those things? So that's not just important for social media, but before you create that social media, before you launch your church, you should have some idea, and then kind of drilling that down to who those people are you want to reach. Why am I creating social media? Millennials don't use YouTube or don't use Facebook. They may use Instagram or TikTok, but they're not using Facebook. Us old folks are using Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, I mean, that's how things have changed. So, and Twitter may not be something you use very often, but it's a good thing to use. I can put a short leap out there, a little thing every day or every week, you know, and it may reach somebody, may reach a few people. I may have people that follow it from my website, you know, or whatever you do. We don't do Twitter. A blog site might be something you add on there where if you're like to sit down in front of the camera and read a scripture and give a little devotional on a weekly basis. Might be something you add to your website or to your YouTube page. You know, 2 or 3 minute videos. They call them shorts. You know, really short things that boom. I'm going to be preaching on this on Sunday, so I do a little Saturday or a Friday little short devotional on something that goes to point you to that. Or after that, I do a little something Monday to point you back towards that sermon or reiterate something that was in there. Something really short. So those blogs that you have on opportunity to put on YouTube or on Facebook or something are huge too. That adds value to it. The more views you get, better the algorithm works for you, so more people can see it. So it helps you in your neighborhood and those things. Carl also gave us another page that has a lot of information on it for different things to get you started. You know, different places, website options. There's a ton of them out there. You know, you just have to find out what works best for you, what fits into your income bracket, what you're going to be spending. There's many of them on there. The hosting services, like I said, there's several ones. Everybody uses what they feel works best for them. You know, domain places, registered domain names is on there. You know, backside, yes, other resources. Pro Church Tools is a great place to get a lot of stuff from. Many things you can do with that. So many things. Life Church is a great resource. They have tons of things on there that you might use to. They have Bible study lessons on there for kids. They have all kinds of stuff on there. I've never been to Unsplash, but there's free photos on that. Canva, and you'll find different places that will give you free stock photos that you can use for some of your stuff on it. But most of them is try and take some pictures that you could use to build your website with of your church, of things in there, you know, that you can put on your website to use for things like that, and try to build those yourself as much as possible. But it's going to save you money in the long run, and know how to format those things. There's classes out there to learn all that stuff. So you can go for free. You can go to YouTube and find a class.
And you know, I've got a question for you. You know, you have messaging, right, on your phone. Why go with Twitter when you have messaging?
Because Twitter is out there. Anybody can find that Twitter page. message, I have to have your phone number
Yeah.
to send you a text message.
Oh, I see.
I can't send a text message to this guy here because I don't have his phone number.
Okay. I see.
So Twitter allows you to do that. And
Check on Instagram.
same with Instagram, you know, same with all that stuff. If I don't have your phone number, I can't send you a text message. So that helps. Some of those apps that we have will allow you to send text messages to all your members, but not to people that aren't members or frequent visitors or that aren't in your system. With our planning center, you can then text message all your members. If the weather's bad and it's snowing outside, you're not gonna have church because you can't get to the church. You can send out that message Sunday mornings.
If it's good enough for post office, it's good enough for them.
Yeah. But you know, something has happened, you know, when they first closed everything down for COVID, I can send out a message to all my church members and say, they close, hope that never happens again, because that was crazy. But that was bad. Hope that helped you. You know, and like I said, if Carl will email you that, you'll have the links to those places. You can just click on it in the document. I use Google Docs, very simple. So. You can send it. Any questions, comments? No, perfect.
I will let you know too that I spoke to Miss Rhonda from last week. And she said she sent me the link to the PowerPoint, but it never came. Today, I made her check. Even Daniel had sent me some stuff. Sometimes when people put the website, they put send text and they put TEX and it's just CENTX. So I think that's what she did, but she told me she would check tonight and I'll still get it.
Google put in send text with the E when I was typing his email address in, and I didn't pay attention, so when